This is probably the most retarded way to get carbon fiber in Blender, but it's my personal favorite. You're going to learn something about creating custom textures in Blender today. We're going to delete the default cube, Shift A, give me a plane, extrude this edge out by exactly 2 units, so you can take this edge from the middle, lift it up, Control B to bevel it like this. Maybe you can lift it up a little bit more if you want to make that more intense. And when you do that, you got some overlapping geometry on the side, so just select everything and press M, merge by distance. Object shade smooth, and now you switch to the shading tab. In the shading tab, add a new material. We're going to make that dark red for now. We're going to make it black later, but it's easier to see what's going on when you got some color. It's also turned up metallic. Now, we need to make the little details on the individual strands before we stack this shit to turn it into full carbon fiber texture. And to do that, we're going to start with a noise texture node, which we're going to place right here, plug that into roughness. As you can see right now, it looks like shit, but we're going to map it a little bit better. So we're going to use the node wrangler. If you don't got your node wrangler, you got to go to edit preferences, add-ons, type in wrangler right here, check this box. And then when you select the node, you press Control T. It's going to attach these other 2 nodes, which you can use for your mapping. So we need to make these tiny fibers go along the big fiber here. So we're going to increase the y-axis scale, decrease the x-axis scale to something like 0.3, and then the z-axis scale as well. We're going to set that to 0.1, 0.2 or something like that. And of course, we have to add a color ramp node. A color ramp node, if you're not familiar with it controls the gradient between the colors of a particular texture. So this is what the color ramp node looks like, and I can try to demonstrate this for you if we plug this into base color. Let's say, for example, we have color red and we have another color which is blue. By default, the gradient here is very long, so the transition between these 2 colors is very smooth. But if we bring these markers very close together, you can see that the transition becomes smaller, so the pattern starts to look a lot sharper. There's a bunch of other things you can do here which I don't really want to get into now, but basically this is going to help us control the sharpness of the texture in a way. It's not really the sharpness, it's more about how sharp the colors look or whatever. I don't know how you would describe it, but you understand what I'm trying to tell you. Of course, we don't want red and blue, we want to have black and white here, so make one side white, the other side black. It doesn't matter which is which. For some reason, it seems to work much better if white is on the right side and black is on the left. Anyway, you don't want to bring these 2 close together. You want to have them approximately this far apart. So plug that into roughness. We're going to increase the roughness here in the noise texture node, also increase the detail. Play around with this until you get a result that you like. I think this is starting to look pretty nice. Later on, we can go back and change it. You can do this again. If you don't like the outcome, you can always play around with some of these settings afterwards. And now in edit mode, we're going to go to top view with 7. Shift D, right click, rotate this by 90 degrees. Then press G to move and hold down Control, so you place it exactly down here like this. And then notice how the pattern here goes along the fiber, but over here it's perpendicular, so that's no good. But this is happening because we got our texture coordinate here set to generated, and this means we have a texture projected from above. It's sort of like you have a projector somewhere above the scene, and then depending on where you place your geometry, that's the part of the texture you're going to get. Which means that regardless of how you rotate this, the texture is going to stay the same. However, if we switch this to UVs, then we're mapping based on the UVs of the object, and in this case, regardless of how we rotate the object, the UVs stay the same. So we got to rotate the UVs if we want to change the projection. I'm assuming everybody knows how UV works, so that's the end of that. Now we can start stacking. So go to the modifier tab, add modifier, generate. Let's use legacy array modifier. Don't use relative offset, we're going to use constant offset because relative uses the width or the length of the object, and that's all good. For the x-axis, we could just set that to something like 0.5, but when you want to do the y-axis, you want to set it to 1/3, which means you got to deal with decimal places and shit like that. So you got to type in something like 0.33333. Fuck all that. Uncheck relative, we're going to use constant offset, and here you just type in the distance by which you want to shift this object. So we want to move this by 2, and the other way we want to move it by 2 as well. So just increase the count to something like 4 now. You can do 6 or 8 if you want to, it doesn't really matter. And then you're going to add another array modifier, generate array. Again, you're going to use constant offset, and first we're going to go 4 to the right, and then we're going to do -4 on the y, and you can increase this to whatever you want as well. Look how pretty that looks. If you show this to somebody who's tripping balls on psychedelics, they might appreciate it. Maybe not, who the fuck knows. Anyway, we're going to place the 3D cursor onto one of these vertices in the corner right here. Shift A, add a plane. First, we're going to scale that plane by a factor of 2. I'm doing that in edit mode so I can keep my object scale the same. When you start changing the object scale, it starts fucking with your textures and the projection and all these different things. Lift it up just a little bit. Now go to top view, and we have to make this texture tileable, which means if we stack the texture on the plane, you don't really see the repetition. You don't exactly see where the border between one tile and the other tile is. So you can't have something like this because that's going to give you all sorts of problems. So most importantly, you want to take care of a scale. You don't want to have a scale like this because there's no way that's tileable. You want to keep the scale a factor of 2. So we scale this by 2. We can scale it by another 2. We can scale it by another 2 still. We don't have enough texture for that. We could could increase the count if we want to do that. And then if you want to check whether it's tileable or not, you place the texture over something and you look into one of the corners and you check whether what is on that corner is exactly the same as what is on the other side of the other corner down here. So over here, right below this line here in the corner, we have this thing. So it's a full vertical strand. We got exactly the same thing going on under this corner. You can check the other places, you're gonna have the same shit. So if we take this block and we put it down here, what you see in this corner of this block is the same as what you see in this corner of the other block, so that's good. Now select your plane. We're gonna bake some textures. Add a new material to the plane. Shift A, add an image texture node, place that right there. Generate a new image. It's up to you what you want the resolution to be. I think something like 512 will do. This is going to be the carbon fiber normal map. Just name that whatever you want. I already got it, so I'm just gonna name it N for now. And check 32-bit float. New image, set this here to non-color. Select the surface below, then shift select the plane. Go over to your render settings. Make sure you're in cycles. Set the render samples to 1, then scroll down to bake. Set the bake type to normal. Check selected to active. Reduce the margin to 0. Make sure that this node here is selected and hit bake and wait. And while we wait, if you want to learn a little bit more about the tools and techniques which you see me use in my videos, I explained every single one of them in depth in my Blender Masterclass course. There's a link for that in the description. Now that's done, we can check whether or not that worked properly by plugging this in. So Shift A, add a normal map node, which you're gonna place right here. Plug that into normal. It's white, so we can't see shit. This is why we need to have a darker material. So make this almost black, turn up metallic, reduce the roughness a little bit. There you go. That's starting to look pretty good. Don't worry, it's going to be a lot nicer still. Now, on this same plane, you're going to duplicate this node, and in that new node, you're going to get rid of the image. You're going to generate a new one, which is going to be the roughness map. So I'm going to name that R. Uncheck 32-bit float, new image, set this to non-color. Select the surface below, select the plane. Bake type is now going to be roughness. Keep everything else the same. Hit bake, make sure you got the R node selected, and then you just plug that into roughness. So now I'm gonna go up here and change my HDRI because this one is shitty. I want to go with this one. You can see that's starting to look pretty nice. I want to increase my scale, so I'll press Ctrl T again and I'll plug this mapping node into both of these images. Increase the scale to something like 5. Over here we're going to increase the brightness just a little bit. We're going to open up clear coat, so we want to set the weight to 1. We're going to play with the roughness until it looks right. And now there is your carbon fiber. Now there's one more important thing that I want to change here, which I should have probably done earlier. Let's just take a moment to look at this close up so you can see what I'm talking about. All of these fibers here have exactly the same texture, which is not good because you can kind of see that it's repetitive. You can't really see it, but maybe you can see it. Maybe that bothers you. It looks a little bit artificial. So to change that, we're going to fix one thing before we bake again. This is going to take 10 seconds. Select this surface that you got going on underneath your plane and apply both of the array modifiers. Go to top view, and in top view you're going to press U, and in the UV unwrap menu you're going to project from view but with bounds. That's going to unwrap this based on the view and it's going to fit it to the entire plane. Well, now we're really fucked up because we got to undo a couple of steps too before we apply the array modifiers. So bear with me here just a moment. The problem is that when we UV unwrap this the way we just did, it all goes on the same texture, so some of the fibers are good but some of them are perpendicular. So we're going to have two separate materials. So we're going to take this one down here, add a new material slot. You're going to load in the same material which we got on the other one, but we're going to duplicate it and assign that there. And now these are two separate materials. They look the same, but they are separate. You can change them separately. And now we can go to top view. We're going to unwrap, project from view, bounds, and you can see what's going on here. The texture is perpendicular on these fibers that we got here. So we're going to select one of them, Shift G, select similar material. That's going to select all the fibers which got the second material, which is the same, except the fibers are fucked up on that material. So we're just going to change the orientation in the mapping node. So we have to swap the X scale with the Y scale, copy the Y scale, paste it into X, and whatever we had on X we're going to put into Y. So that was 0.1. As you can see now, everything's perpendicular. It's nice and pretty, and each of these strands here has a unique texture. So all you got to do now is select the surface below, shift select the plane, select the roughness node, hit bake one more time, and you're going to notice that your texture now is going to be a lot more beautiful. Now you can increase the strength of your normal map if you want to make it a little bit more intense, but make sure you save these two materials somewhere. So you go down to the UV editor, take your roughness map, open this menu, image, save as, save that to some folder on your computer which you're going to name carbon fiber, and then switch over to your normal map and save that to the same folder. And now you can just load that into any material in any scene. Just use the exact same setup that we got right here. Like the video, subscribe to the fucking channel, check out my Blender Masterclass course down below if you want to learn more tips and tricks like this. I'm going to use this carbon fiber texture for my Aston Martin which I'm making on Patreon. So if you want to see some hardcore car modeling tutorials, I got a bunch of those over on Patreon. Make sure you check that out as well. You can also ask me a question or something like that. Anyway, that's it. I'll see you in the next one.